Hey, today I'm going to customize these new original sketch turtles by Playmates. Look how awesome this guy is. So they all have a different face, the same articulation. They bend at the knee, no foot, but the knee swivels. They have a tail, the hands swivel, they have elbow. When I was a kid, all I really wanted in my life was a Playmates turtle figure that I could bend the elbows and the knees. That was my dream. I was a simple kid. But yeah, Playmates really stepped up with this one. I'm gonna customize them, but I'll probably get another set. So that's awesome. That's what they look like now. I'm gonna make them better, hopefully. So I have Donnie head first in a hot bath because I want to warm up the belt so I can get it out. But it's glued in there pretty tight, so I had to use a knife. And I pulled it out so I could still have a little purchase when I put them back into place. So I cut like as much of a nub still on it as I could. Now I have some acrylic primer I mixed with some white acrylic and a little drop of black to get a gray primer, and I'm going over the base now to make it like gray cement, but I'm not trying to cover everything perfectly. I wanted to more do a dry brush, but I did a little more than I planned to. It happens sometimes, but that's alright. And so I cover those and leave some black. I want to leave like the lowest areas, but it doesn't matter, I'll fix it later. And now I mixed some green in with that primer I made just to give it a little bit of a green tint, and I was trying to go around the eyes and I realized that that's a horrible idea. I'll just do the eyes later because it's hard to get right around the eyes and you have to be so careful, and I'll save that step for later. So I just covering everything, well not everything, but most of the stuff I'm going to paint with the primer. And now I have a hunter green and some black I mixed together. That's a little too dark, so I add some more green because I want a dark green as my base green. Going over all the skin areas now. I'm gonna go with a lighter dry brush to bring out some more details and stuff later. But I didn't do the chest or the shell with the primer because I'm gonna paint them close to the same color, and I'm just dry brushing a bit on the back of the shell with that dark green because I want to have a bit of a green tint but still be really dark because that's how they are in the comic book art. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going off of the original covers where they all have the red bandana and then they're like green. Well, they're all the same green and they have bright highlights, and they're always in the shadows, so it's hard to, you can really go as bright or as dark as you want, I guess. So I go dark and then I gave a little bit of a green highlight so it's picking up, and they have details in the skin. There's tiny little like ripples, but I picked it up when I dry brushed, but I didn't notice when I got them or when I opened them earlier. And now I'm covering everything with a matte acrylic varnish. So on the stuff that I didn't prime, the matte acrylic varnish is going to act as my primer, like the belt and the sewer lid there, and the shell plastron or undershoot. And Leo, again, he's the only one with knee pads. So that's the NECA original turtles, but not the original sketch turtles, just the original turtles. So it's going to be the same kind of color scheme as them. But I noticed that like Mikey and Donnie sit in the back of the stand, and Donnie's on the same level as Leo right in front of him, so you can't really see him. But Mikey's on that crate and board going across it, so I thought I'll make a small like crate that Donnie can stand on so you can see him better behind Leo in the stand. So I raised it up a bit, and I had to make sure I raised it up enough so it fits over that peg and I can still move it around, but the peg is covered by the crate. And now I have some burnt umber, and I'm going in the details of his chest and yeah, all the cracks and around the side, make it darker. And then I just dry brush it a little bit over the front of their chests, and then that'll be all different. Then I go on my crate and I get all the dark spots, plus I do a bunch of random kind of wood grain texture or color, and I switch to a bark brown, and it's a satin bark brown. I put a little bit of the bark brown on the wood, but the wood, it's not a tree anymore, it doesn't have bark, so but it's a satin, so it kind of has a leather look, so that's why I put on the belt. And then I dry brush a bunch of brown around on the rest of the base where the cement is. Now this is a satin real brown, so it's just a darker brown, and it's a satin, so it looks like, well, satin is the shine, but it makes it look like leather. It's like a semi-gloss, pretty much. And next I put some cinnamon brown, and now I'm just dry brushing a little bit of cinnamon brown around, and that'll make it look like it's weathered and beat up. Then I mix some water with the cinnamon brown to get a bit of a wash to go over the crate, because I want it darker, but I don't want to cover it all one color. I want all the other colors to still show through a bit, so that's why I did the wash. And then I dry brush some more on all the pads. Now I switch to raw sienna. I'm dry brushing over his chest, and I don't want to cover it fully, but you can see it really becomes a lot more vibrant, but still you can see the marks that he came with, and the brown underneath. Then I mix some water with that to make a wash to go over the crate that I made again, because I want it to be brighter. Now I'm dry brushing a little bit of silver on the sewer, and I put a bunch of brown on the sewer to make it look dirty and stuff. And then the dry brush of silver is to pick up the edges so you can see the details more. But that didn't work as much as I wanted it to. I like it, but now I move on to red for the bandanas. I had a deep red, but that was a little too thin, so it wasn't really doing anything. My plan was to do deep red and then go a dry brush of the lighter red, but the deep red wasn't going over anyway, so I just mixed the apple red with the deep red and then did their masks all like that. Yeah, but it took like 2 hours. That's why I didn't want to go around the eyes twice, because I spent like half an hour on each just trying to get perfectly around the eyes without getting in the white of the eyes. Now I'm covering everything to seal it up with the matte acrylic varnish, and I had 4 of those canisters, or the ooze canisters, and they're all the same, so I thought I might as well paint one. So I covered it with the matte acrylic varnish to prime it, and now I cover it with the black wash, and that's just acrylic paint and black acrylic paint and water. About 35-65 paint to water, I'd say. So I get in all the cracks, and I want to make it darker and dirtier, and then I wipe off a bunch on the top so the brown still shows through. And then I went under the crate to get all in the cracks and the details to darken that up. Now I went with to bring out the details more, because that silver dry brush didn't do enough for me. Then I go in all the deep areas with the black wash that I was using, and then I took a little bit of green now, bright green, and went over on the canister, so the canister actually has some ooze on it, and then brought out a little more of the details. That was before and after. So I made the original sketch turtles look like the original color versions of the turtles. Yeah. And that wasn't the original sketch. I guess that was the original sketch of all 4 of them together, probably, that these guys were based off. So they don't have the longer mask covering their nose. I could have done that. Maybe I should have. It would have been cool, but I didn't think of it till later when my friend mentioned it. And anyways, thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, remember, always keep your head up. Peace.